Bloodwolf Arts Studio. Unleash the artist within.
Welcome to Bloodwolf Arts Studio, and I'm your host, Mr. Moonlight. So today I'm reading the next poem in my series, my collection of poetry, in Seasons of Life, Volume 1, Autumn. And this one was written on March 10th, 2012, and it's titled The Mirror. So, I mean, sounds pretty straightforward. The mirror, um, reflecting on myself, on who I am, what am I doing. And this one really captured a lot of the cycles that I was spiraling through, because I didn't feel like I fit in anywhere. Like I kind of felt like a broken puzzle piece, honestly. Like I didn't feel like a lot of my brothers or most any of them didn't connect to them on a really deep level. Honestly, connected a lot more with my sisters and my mom. Um, and I found myself going through a cycle of shame. And I honestly I feel like this is something that's just part of any kind of Christian culture, because any religion or community or ideology that places someone or something on a pedestal above you, um, that just creates a culture of unworthiness, like you'll never be enough. Because at this point that was how I framed things, was I was in a cycle of unworthiness, not good enough, didn't belong. And then I would remember that, some of Jesus's teachings, because Jesus, like Jesus never taught that. Like that's how what the religions and people have done to Jesus's teachings is they've put Jesus above them. And I always liked reading the Gospels, because I would see in the scriptures themselves of Jesus constantly putting himself down on people's level, being of service to people. Um, And so I would go through these cycles of feeling like I didn't belong and unworthy. And, maybe that's the reason why nothing is working out. That's why my inspiration's gone. That's why I'm not sure what's happening next. That's why I'm not getting married. That's why I'm not clear on the direction I'm going in my life. That's why I don't fit into my family, or why I don't feel like I belong anywhere. And then remembering Jesus's love and being like, well, I know there's one person who sees me. And so this poem was really focusing a lot on the cycle of unworthiness, and then feeling shame for feeling unworthy. Being like, okay, someone points it out, like remembering that Jesus loves me, Jesus supports me, Jesus sees me and loves me just as I am, and then feeling bad that I even thought of being unworthy. And that's kind of seen throughout this whole poem. But in this poem, Jesus is also in this one that starts out, and there's a, a frame laid out of me looking at myself, struggling to see any value. And then there's a stranger that comes along who's not named. And then later on in the poem, it's named to be Jesus, like, of course, and being told that I'm worthy and that I am a lot more than I think I am. And I use different imagery through the poem to describe this. And I'm going to read one of the stanzas. Um, and I'm actually describing myself in this poem, like, uh, how I actually appear, because I'm like, there must be something wrong with how I look. Maybe that's why I'm not getting married. That's why no girls are interested in me, I guess. But it reads, I nabbed a comb to fix my stray, and covered up my crumbs, broke my nose to make it stay how I thought should be done. And I'm talking about my stray, I'm talking about my hair. Like maybe my hair doesn't look good. I had longer hair, I kind of wore it funny or whatever. And then um, my crumbs, I referred to my freckles, um, because growing up, like I had definitely had very pronounced freckles. and um, you know, my nose, I've always like thought my nose got some. I mean, like I love how I am these days, but at this time I was so self-critical, and you could say, well, that's also just a part of like being a teenager too, like growing into adulthood. Some of those things are people go through that kind of stuff all the time and judging their own appearances. Um, but that was a lot of what this poem was looking into a mirror to look at myself and then just hating what I saw. And by the end of the poem, then it's like get to the end of the poem, and then it's like, and it's the poem's laid out where it's this very vivid imagery, this scene, you can see it play out, and then it gets to close to the end, and then I wake up and it's a dream, and it's like it was all a dream. And then it ends with me. Uh, it ends with me telling others about this dream I had, and so by at the end of the poem, the last lines, it kind of trails off into ellipses, and just kind of the words trail off of me retelling the poem, or in other words, the dream I just had to other people. And so the poem ends by me retelling the start of the poem, or rereading the poem itself in different words. I don't know, it's interesting how I wrote that. It's like the whole thing was a dream, and at the end, and I'm like telling other people, this is what I dreamed. This was this amazing message, this inspiration, um, this visit of Jesus coming to talk to me and tell me that even though I don't see my own worth, that it's actually there. So, so that's this poem titled "The Mirror." So remember to like the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel and my Facebook, Blood Wolf Arts Studio. Follow me on TikTok as Mr. Moonlight Rhyme. That's my handle across all my platforms. You can check out my website and see a link to my books for purchase down in the description down below. So stay tuned for the reading of The Mirror, and thank you for tuning in, and welcome to my side of the moon.
The Mirror by Aaron Brown. As I gazed into a mirror, I saw myself right then, seeing me, and then my door. Nothing more right then. Then I saw my freckled face, a stray hair here and there. My nose was odd and out of place. I stopped my stare right there. I couldn't bear to see myself, an ugly and odd beast. Who am I to say my wealth? I deserve no crumbs of feasts. But I found again the glass, reflecting only me. I gazed and looked to see past me, to see past me. I struggled, strained, but I could not see more than my odd face. Who am I truly thought, to see me less disgraced? I nabbed a comb to fix my stray and covered up my crumbs, broke my nose to make it stay how I thought should be done. I bled and cried from what I'd done. I now looked worse than then. I sat down, I had not one, and hid in a dark den. Then somehow, amidst my gaze, some stranger came my way, and seeing only my fairways, he stopped there the whole day. He pointed to my freckles, told how it matched the stars. Worth more than golden shekels, his words stretched near and far. He pointed to his scraggly hair and chuckled softly low, saying I was far more fair. My disgrace was not so. Speaking soft, endearing words, he led me to the wall where had hung my glassy shame, and let me see it all. I was astounded as I seen God's work without end. Seeing things through this new screen, I seen my blessed friends. They're more special than they know. But Jesus pointed to myself and spoke just so. I love them as I you. Crying tears of endless love, I felt then so ashamed, for I'd forgot his endless love. He called me by my name. Said I had still more to do. He hugged me, then he left. Waving by, he went back home, wishing me the best. Waking up then with a start, and all had seemed so real. It was vivid and so stark. It gave me strength to feel. The next day I found the glass. It looked just like my dream. I soon was telling ones I'd pass of the sight I'd seen. I once sat gazing in a dream at silver worlds alone. I looked and seen I was obscene, a useless and odd drone.